Immigration rule aimed at attracting the best of the best to the United States. People like Elon Musk, the founder of PayPal, Tesla Motors, and SpaceX. The rule includes strict guidelines that would let entrepreneurs into our country on a case-by-case basis for up to 5 years. We hear this new rule would not need congressional approval. So what are the pros and cons of such a program? Let's talk about it with Gene Marks, a CPA at the Marks Group and columnist at the Washington Post. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Patty.
So you say one of the pros is, why would another country benefit from an individual's fantastic talent if we can bring that person here?
Yeah, that pretty much hits it on the head, right? I mean, PayPal is a great example of a company that has grown to be such a great value, and it was founded by immigrants. I mean, when you look at the data, 50% of companies that are more than $1 billion in value, tech companies, have been founded by immigrants, Patty. And so, attracting immigrants, keeping them here, particularly when they're educated in this country, it's a really, really big thing. I mean, when you look at startups, Kaufman did a big study a few years ago that said between 1977 and 2005, existing companies lost 1 million jobs. Startups created 3 million jobs. So the government's trying to get startups more here. They want immigrants to be here in America. They want to give them enticement to stay in this country. So it's a big pro, and I like that.
Yeah, so job creation, another big pro. But critics disapprove of this idea of putting a value on someone's potential benefit. I mean, so many people are turned away, but a select few get the welcome mat, and based on whatever criteria, some people feel that's unfair.
Yeah, it's interesting when you say that. I mean, I commiserate with that, and I think it's true. It's sort of like pay to play. I mean, you have to show you own 15% of a company, and you have to have $350,000 in American investors. So it's kind of like the entrepreneurs with the money are getting like the priority to stay in this country. Some people even argue that they don't even contribute that much to overall GDP. But I got to tell you, Penny, I don't even think that's the biggest con. The biggest con to this legislation, it's not even legislation, it's a rule. It's an adjustment to an existing law that's out there. And honestly, somebody is going to contest it. I mean, Hillary Clinton supports it. Donald Trump does not support it. Obviously, it's going to go up through the Supreme Court through appeals. So think about it. If you're an entrepreneur, you're a foreign immigrant, and you want to stay in this country, are you going to take the risk of doing that when there's a good chance that it might get overturned in the courts and you might be booted out of the country depending on which ways the law goes. So until there's real legislation about this and overall immigration reform, my prediction is a lot of immigrants and a lot of investors are going to be very hesitant about taking advantage of this rule.
So this rule, when does it take effect?
Well, right now, it's just been proposed, so there's a 45-day period where people can comment on it, and then what President Obama is hoping is that it takes effect before he leaves office on January 20th. Sometime in the first quarter of 2017 is when it's expected to take effect.
And it doesn't need congressional approval?
It does not, so it's not law, which means that if Donald Trump is elected president, he could overturn it. So again, it's a big risk if you're an entrepreneur, if you want to take that risk to stay in this country. It's not law.
Yeah, well, all right, we'll see how it goes. Gene Marks, thank you so much.
Thanks, Patty.